stage is all yours. Start. Thank you again, and you can start now.
Assalamu alaikum everyone and welcome to my session. I hope you enjoyed your time in the sessions before me and learned something new. Before we get started, let me quickly introduce myself. My name is Zara and I am one of the youngest citizen developers. I'm a student of grade 6. I love tech and I love to talk about Microsoft Power Platform and Azure AI. I also enjoy being a citizen developer, which is why I will be sharing today how you can begin your journey as one. I will also be sharing you how to use Microsoft Power Platform. Let's look at learning objectives of this session. First, we'll look at who is a citizen developer, and then we'll understand what platforms you can use as a citizen developer, what solutions you can build, and what it feels like to be a citizen developer, which is where I'll give you your first hands-on experience that will lead to you starting your journey as a citizen developer. But before we start, I'm pretty sure that you all must be thinking that why do we need citizen developers? Already so many people can code. Well, the truth is that there's actually a global shortage of technical talent. And I'm positive that everyone here knows you need technology for your companies to thrive. And by looking at Singapore individually, over 60,000 added professionals will be needed, which is quite an important thing as it is the technological capital of Asia. Now, another problem that I want to bring to your attention is the lack of female workforce in STEM. In recent Deloitte studies, it was highlighted that only 25% of the tech workforce is female, which is quite low. And then this percentage dropped significantly in Pakistan. One of the solutions to increase female participation in the tech workforce is through citizen developers. According to Gartner, a citizen developer is a person who creates application capabilities for themselves or others. It's a persona, not a title or targeted role, which means anyone can be a citizen developer. They report to a business unit or function other than IT. And to be a citizen developer, should need to have a technical background, just simple knowledge of PowerPoint and Excel. To make citizen developers successful, you need the right tool that are easy enough for non-technical personas as well. This is where Power Platform comes in, as it is my favorite tool for application development. Microsoft Power Platform is the tool created by Microsoft to enable citizen developers to create millions of apps, workflows, chatbots, and more. It allows you to improve interactions with interactive apps, automate your business processes with flows, have a better understanding of your businesses with dashboards and reports, to reduce manual work by leveraging intelligent bots. So, overall, Microsoft Power Platform is the world's easiest low code, no code tool for rapid development. Let's deep dive into Microsoft Power Platform's many services. There are 5 key services of Microsoft Power Platform. Power Apps for web and mobile application development, Power Automate for process or workflow automation. Don't worry where you're going to use these services, as I will be giving use cases later on. Power Virtual Agents allows you to build chatbots and conversational agents. Power Pages for building secure, data-centric business websites. Power BI for data exploration and analytics and reporting. There are also some shared services which are shared across the platform. There are data connectors which enable you to connect to over 600 plus business applications. And then there's AI Builder, just like the name suggests, allows you to access pre-built AI models. Microsoft Dataverse allows you to smartly capture data, and PowerFX is the scripting language used by Microsoft Power Platform. Manage Environments is an administrative tool that allows you to manage environments, like the name says. Let's explore each of these services one by one. What is Power Apps? Power Apps allows you to create local no-code applications for yourself and others. There are two different types of ways that you can create apps with Power Apps. Canvas apps, which allows you to customize mobile and web apps, and model-driven apps, which are data-based business apps, which take care of the customizations by itself. You can also take advantage of the mobile features, such as the camera, and use it to make more interactive apps as well. The first use case I want to show is a personal one. Me and my sister used Power Apps to create a book recording app since we used to read so many books and lost count of them. Power Apps not only helped us save these details, it also helped us give us our own rating, and it also helped us to write down which part of the book we like best. In the end, we were able to turn the idea that was in our heads into reality. A real-world use case used by Lauren Taylor, assistant principal of Manitou Park Elementary School. She used Power Apps for reading and fluency to enter data on what her students needed. So instead of boring you with words, I'm going to show you a quick video on what she did and how she used Microsoft Power Platform.
Zara, can you share it again via the voice? I think the voice is not coming in. If you can share with voice again. Uh, if you can, Zara, reshare the screen with an audio option. I think you have shared the screen, but without audio. When you share it again, there's an option called it's a share include computer sound. I just reshare it, include. Yeah.
Diagnostic needs that they found for each of the students right in there. And then this would speak to a Power BI dashboard so we could then visualize that data.
I am using this Power app in many different ways. My favorite way is working with a coworker who is co-teaching in my classroom. So we're sharing kids. We are double dosing these kids. So we're seeing them twice a day, and we want to make sure that we have new ideas for them, but the same main topic to be working on with different books.
So I would like to know, what is the book you read today?
The cat and the bird.
Teachers use the app in a couple of ways. So one is that it lives on our building teams, and anytime a teacher opens up the app, There'll be a list of students there, or they have the option to input another student. Then what they would do is input all of the student data, meaning their reading needs, their reading levels, and any notes that they feel are relevant to themselves or anyone else who might be reading with that student. And then what happens is Flow takes that information and then populates that on a Power BI where they can go in, they can sort all of that information and create reading groups in just a couple of clicks.
I'm working with 4 different reading groups and I'm cycling through books and I'm thinking to myself, oh, did I already read this book with this group? And they really love it when I can go back in that Power app and remember which books I read with them as I keep pushing them forward in their reading skills.
My job title is assistant principal. My job title is not app developer, IT manager, coder. I really don't know anything about coding other than what I have learned from the Power Platform community and the Power Addicts.
Lauren has been a principal now going on 2 years, and I can tell you, up until she learned more about Power Apps, she used to come home and she just looked tired, beat, because, a lot of times principals are trying to, solve problems. Power Apps gave her the ability to find solutions for a lot of those problems. So although, she's coming home and she's working, she's very passionate and she's found excitement in this job.
My hope with more educators building their own apps is that we're able to spend more of our time in front of students teaching and more students being able to learn, because everything is either efficient or automatic, or we're creating or the students are creating. And when we're in that space where everyone is creating, that's really that highest level of learning.
Did you notice 3 things about this video? Number 1, Lauren Taylor had no prior coding experience, and yet she still managed to use Power Platform. Number 2, she didn't make a game, although there's nothing wrong with that, but instead she solved a real world problem. And finally, number 3, she was able to learn how to use Power Platform by the community, which means that there are enough resources for all of us to learn Power Platform. Let's look at Power Automate. Power Automate is a platform where you can automate lots of different repeatable tasks. It allows you to connect to over 600 plus platforms to automate your business processes with flows. It also has a function called an RPA, which stands for Robotic Process Automation. There are 4 different types of flows, which you can use based on your preference: automated cloud flows, instant cloud flows, scheduled cloud flows, and desktop flows. There's also a process advisor, which advises you and evaluates your existing processes and tasks. Going back to the book recording app, I also wanted to send my father an email at 9 p.m. of how many books I have read in the past day. It might have not been much, but I still wanted to send my father the details. Power Automate helped me to automate this continuous task and reduce a lot of constant work. The real world use case for Power Automate is that Coca-Cola Bottling Company United was challenged to streamline its order and invoicing procedures. It rose to the occasion quickly, using robotic process automation to automate the continuous work the employees had to do. This is what Coca-Cola Bottling Company had to do before it used Power Automate. And as you can see, that is a lot of manual work. And Power Automate has successfully automated more than half of these procedures. Power Virtual Agents is a service which allows you to create intelligent bots and conversational agents with speed and agility. As you can see on my screen, Power Virtual Agents was also used by the government during the COVID lockdown. You can also use it and connect it to different websites and Power Platform services. A real world use case for Power Virtual Agents is that the Miami Dolphins, well known for football, also own Hard Rock Stadium, which hosts a wide range of sports and entertainment events. They've always built a chatbot that's available on their web properties. The organization used Microsoft Power Virtual Agents to build the chatbot. So far, the bot has handled more than 40,000 conversations and has successfully resolved 97% of them. As I mentioned before, Microsoft Dataverse allows you to smartly capture data. It's an online service in Power Platform that allows you to store and manage data that's used by your applications. Data within Dataverse is stored in tables and columns. Now that we have understood what is Microsoft Power Platform, let's understand how the studio looks like. I will give you your first overview of Microsoft Power Platform. Let me just share my screen. Can you see my screen?
Yes, it's visible.
Yep.
So now that we have landed in office.com, I'm going to click on the 9 dots here to open Power Apps. It's going to load and then take us to the Power Apps homepage. So here, as you can see, there are a lot of options if you want to create an app. If you select blank app, it opens up this. So you can create a Canvas app, you can create a model-driven app, and you can also create a Power Portal. And if you want to learn labs and documents from Power Apps, you can actually see these, which are different learning levels for everybody. So if you're a beginner, you can get started with this. And if you already know a lot about Power Platform and you still want to know more, you can use this one. Here you can access Microsoft Dataverse, and you can even see the pre-built AI builder models right here. It'll just take a little time to load. And as you can see, there are all these pre-built AI models right here. So let's create a Canvas app from scratch. It's going to be a test app, but since when I create an app, it usually takes a lot of time to load, I'm going to skip the process of creating a new one since I've already opened up the Canvas App Studio. It'll open up exactly like this. We're just going to skip this. And as you can see here, the screens over here are a lot like slides, so you can navigate them pretty quickly. If you want to add a new screen, you can add a blank screen, and you can also add a template screen. So if you want to add a list screen, you can add maybe this one. And if you're adding a success screen, like maybe after a form is submitted, you can add this one. For now, let's just add a new blank screen. Here you can change the name of the screen. So let's just change the name to home screen. And this one can be end screen. When I go to home screen, I can go from here, from the tree view, I can go to the insert pane where I can add a text label and other features. In this when I select this text box, it shows these properties of the text box. So here I can change its text. So let's just do this. I can change the font right here and the font size and etc. I can make it look even prettier. And if you don't want to go to the insert pane right here and you want to keep your tree view open, you can also go up here to the insert bar. Here, as I said before, you can always take advantage of the mobile features in Power Apps. So if I go to media, I can actually add an image and a camera. Add it right there. Gonna like take a little time to load. And when I go to end screen, I'm going to add a simple text input, which means that if I add a hint text here, it will actually act like a search box. Right here, I'm going to change the hint text to type here. And then over here, I'm going to add a button. This button will take us to the home screen. As I mentioned before, PowerFX is the scripting language used by Power Platform. So this is where you can type in the code. Since I want to navigate from end screen to home screen, I'm going to simply type the navigate function. Now, if you're wondering where I got this formula, I got it from the PowerFX formula reference over here. So if you're having problems and you want to use PowerFX formula, you can always look it up in Microsoft Learn right here, and it's alphabetically numbered. So right here, you can just choose these if you want to reach the alphabet faster. I'm gonna go back, and then we're going to play this app. So here I'm gonna type hello. And then when I click this button, it should take me there. As you can see, the PowerFX formula worked. Let's go back and save our app. Now we're going to look at Power Automate. You can access both Power Apps and Power Automate by Office. It'll take a little time to load, but it'll eventually land us to the home page of Power Automate. Loading. And we have arrived. As you can see here, this one also Power Automate also has labs for every learning level, and it also has templates which you can use if you're having problems with your current flow. So if I select create, it hasn't fully loaded yet. As you can see, these are the flows that I mentioned earlier and the process advisor. Here you can see the templates. You can also see this function in Power Apps. So if you're having problems with the current flow that you're working on, you can always take help from these templates. And if you want to add something extra to these templates, you're always free to do that. Let's create an automated cloud flow. This cloud flow is going to be triggered when an email arrives from Outlook. Email. I'm just going to type Outlook here. It's going to be easier. There, when a new email arrives. So here I'm also going to take advantage of the AI builder function. Just wait a second. So let's create a new step here. We're going to add an AI builder. We just search that. So we want to analyze the positive or negative sentiment in a text. So when an email arrives, it'll be able to check whether the body is, well, whether somebody sent a positive or a negative email. The language is going to be in English. And text is going to be body. Just delete that. And I'm going to save it. So this is how simple your flow can be. You can also take decisions in your flow. I'm going to go to condition control so that if that if if the overall text is negative, then it's gonna do if yes, and if the text isn't negative, it's gonna do if no. So that's how simple your flow can be. Sorry, the network connection is a bit slow. Now that we have understood the environment, we're going to build a solution together. Our problem statement here is to have a mobile app that can store expense details and send a report by the end of the day. Whenever you create an app, you have to think and plan of how you're going to solve it. There should be 3 simple stages. So step 1 is going to be to create a data repository to store the expenses. Step 2 is going to be to make a mobile app to capture these expenses. And then step 3 is going to be send an expense report by email.
I would suggest, Zara, if there is an issue with the net connectivity, you can stop your video. Okay. Back. Let's wait for a minute or so. Back. So, guys, I think Zara is having some technical difficulties, and she will be joining us back. So, just waiting. Yeah, thank you. Thanks for the heads up, Zin. Let's wait for a couple of minutes.
Apologies, मेरा नेटवर्क कनेक्शन खराब हो गई थी.
No worries. Yes, we can. And if you're facing any issue from network perspective, you can turn off your video. That's not an issue. And yeah, I can see your screen now.
Can you see my screen?
Yes, I can see your screen now. Hey, sorry, am I audible, Zara?
Yeah.
Okay, so I was able to see your screen. Yep, it's away visible now.
Can you see my Power App screen?
I can see, yes, I can see your Power App screen now. Yep,
Okay. I'm
please
going to
proceed.
select the right environment here so I can create the expense app.
Okay,
It's going to be the developer environment. And then we're going to create a blank Actually, no. We're going to go to Dataverse, to tables, to create our expense table. Let me just type that in. And then let's save our table. It's going to take a little time to save the table. And then eventually it will land us here. I'm going to select
Okay.
edit the table, and I'm going to add a new column, which is going to be expense amount. Expense amount is going to be currency, and it's going to be required. I'm going to save that. And I'm going to create another column. It may take a little time to save because the network's a bit slow here.
No worries.
Now I'm going to create expense type, which is going to be a choice, a yes or no boolean. But instead of yes or no, it's going to be personal and office. We're going to choose required again because we need to know what type of expense it is. We're going to add in expense date, which is going to be date and time only. It's also going to be required, and I'm going to save it. Now I'm going to add the last column, expense description, which is going to be multiple. It's going to be plain text, and it is going to be recommended. I'm going to save that. And as you can see here, I can see all my columns. Now I'm going to go back and I'm going to go to the create page. Now I'm going to select Dataverse so that I can create a 3-screen app from a Dataverse table. Select this, and then I'm going to select the expense table that I just built. Just going to search it up here so that it's easier to find. Expenses, there. I'm going to connect it to the app, and it's going to create my app. This app will I'll be able to edit the form and the table. So as you can see, it has successfully created a 3-screen app, which shows me the detail screen and the edit screen. I'm going to fix the detail and edit screens so that we can actually see the columns that I created. I'm going to add in currency because we want to know which currency it is. Date, expense description, and expense type. Just gonna close that up so it's easier to see. I'm going to delete created on because we don't really need that field. I'm gonna position it right. Expense date, description, expense type. There we go. And then I'm going to go to the detail screen and fix that one as well. I'm going to remove this first, and I'm going to add in the fields that I added in the other one as well. Description and expense type. Add that in. Just position that right there. And I'm done. All right, so let's play the app. we're going to create a simple record, maybe of a cookie. The expense type is going to be personal. The expense amount is, let's say, $2. And then for the expense date, I'm just going to select today. For the expense description, I'm just going to type something simple like key for my friends. And then I'm going to save this record. It has successfully created my record, and it can also show the details. I can edit this record, and I can also delete it. So now let's go to Power Automate. I'm not going to open it again since it might cause some network issues again. So right there, and then we're going to create a simple automated cloud flow. For this one, I'm gonna search data worse. When a row is added, modified, or deleted, because we want to send an email to my father about my expenses when I create a new expense. The change type is going to be added. So whenever a row is added, the table is going to be expense, the one that we just created. And then for the scope, it's going to be organization, so that everyone can access it. And then for the operation, I'm going to choose Outlook so I can send the details to my father. Let me just fix that. I'm going to select send an email. So overall, what's going to happen right now is when I create that record in my app, such as the one that I created, the cookie, it's going to send an email to my father. For now, I'm just going to send it to myself. And for the subject, I'm going to add expense dash the expense name. For the body of the email, I'm going to add first the expense description, then the expense currency. I'm just going to search it here so that I can find them easier. And then I'm going to search expense amount, expense date, and expense type. I'm going to save my flow. And then now let's go to Office and test our flow in Outlook. First, we're going to go to Power Apps and create a new record. So let's say I'm buying a keyboard. This one is for Office, and expense amount will be, say, 25. For the currency, it's going to be Singaporean dollar. Expense date is today again. And for expense description, I'm going to type for school. I'm going to save this record, and then I'm going to go and check Outlook to see if the email has arrived. So load that. It might take some time as the network connection is a bit low. There, our email has arrived. So, did you notice how easy it was to create a simple app by using Dataverse? You didn't need to do a lot of stuff. You didn't even need to use Power FX. So, can everybody see my presentation?
Yes, we can.
If you want to continue your learning experience, there are lots of different learning resources available. You can use this link, which directs you to Microsoft Learn. It allows you to access lots of different labs and documents. So make sure to jot down this link or bookmark it. That brings us to the end of this session. If you have any questions, you can use this QR code to contact us on LinkedIn. I hope you enjoyed this session and goodbye.
We have one question.
Yes?
If you, yeah, so I ask you if you can unmute yourself and please ask the question.
Hi team, thank you for your very good informative session. Just want to know, I have experience in .NET around 8 years. Okay, so this month I plan to move this Power Apps and Power Automate. So my one question is that is there any portal or something that there is some labs, like some tasks so we can perform by ourselves? In Microsoft Learn, I
Yeah,
have
yeah.
one lab
You
already
can
done.
find Yeah, you can find the labs and the learning documents on this link, the aka.ms/Power Platform Resources. It directs you to the Microsoft Learn page.
Okay. There are some labs, like around 7 or 8 labs I already done. Is there any other like portal that have multiple labs or multiple tasks to
No,
any idea?
this is the only place that you can access all the training labs and
Oh,
the flows.
okay. Thank you.
That's
Any
great.
other
Thank
questions?
you. If we have, yep, if we have guys any other questions, please feel free to ask. I suppose not. So thanks again, Zara and Zenevia as well, because I know she did the session on Friday. And thanks again for both of you. Stay blessed, and it's really great to see you guys learn new
Thank you. It
technology.
was very fun to share my knowledge in this session. It was very fun as well.
Exactly. Yeah.
Bye.
Bye. So have a nice day.
Allah Hafiz.
Okay. So I'm just doing the recording.